Today I'm going to start decorating my dining area for Halloween, and I'm going to begin with the sideboard behind me, and then I'm going to move on to my dining room table. But I also have a super easy, ghouly DIY napkin ring to share with you. I know you are going to love it. I'm Nicole with The Door on the Table. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. To decorate my sideboard, I'm going to use a few things from Dollar Tree, a few things I've picked up at secondhand stores, and a few heirloom items as well. I'm going to start with a gray creepy cloth that I had picked up at Dollar Tree, and I went with the gray color because I think it has that wonderful aged look versus there's a black option as well. Then I took this very tarnished tray I had found at a secondhand store and just placed that right in the middle of my creepy cloth. I also happened to find a wonderfully tarnished small, I guess it's like a candy dish. I put that right in the middle of my tray. Then I took this creepy skeleton skull and situated it right in the middle of that candy dish. These are actually candelabras that were my Nana's, and honestly I have not polished them, so they have a wonderful tarnished patina right now that is perfect for this. Then around the base of my skull and along the tray I placed some fake flowers that have that really deep red black kind of look to them, which I thought were perfect for the whole Halloween setting. I also took a few and put them on the sides of my skull, which I thought kind of made it cute and fun. I felt it needed a little bit more, so I had this bunch of black flowers that I'd grabbed from Dollar Tree, and I just put a few and intermixed it along with my other flowers. To add a little bit of fun and a bit of a creep factor, I added one of those plastic spiders to the top of my skull. I just kind of love that little accent. I decided that my candelabras needed a little something more, so I decided to put a faux flower at the base of each of them. It just kind of helped tie in the color that was going on in the middle of my tray. And since my buffet is being decorated for Halloween, I of course needed to add some fake cobwebs to it. So I grabbed some of that cobweb netting and just draped it around my candelabras. Now that I have my sideboard decorated for Halloween, I need to take care of my dining table. So I've already started with it's like a crushed black tablecloth. Honestly, I don't remember where I picked it up. I've had it for a while. But on top of my black tablecloth, I thought I would start with the same kind of creepy cloth I used on my sideboard, but instead of using it as a runner down the middle, I'm going to put it across my table. So that means I have two of them. I'm going to take one first and lay it across. Good point is take and find the middle point, put that in the middle, and then you can flip half on one side and half on the other side. The other thing too is this kind of gives an idea or of definition of a, similar to like a placemat, where it's defining the area that somebody's their eating space. And then on top of my creepy cloth, I'm going to put some red chargers. So this red charger I decided to use because it's kind of like that blood red. It's a nice deep jewel tone red. I'm going to just put one in front of each of my chairs. And then on top of each of my red chargers, I have a black, it's kind of more like a plate instead of a plate. It's kind of like that cross between a bowl and a plate. Put that right in the middle of my charger. And then on top of my black plate, I have these beautiful red bowls, and they are the perfect match to my red chargers. I like how it's continuing the red from the charger, and it's also got that deep dark color to it as well. Next, I'm going to set up my flatware. So don't forget, a little knife on the right with the blade facing the plate with the spoon next to it, and the fork on the left. I like to keep mine all about a thumb's width from the edge of the table. Next, I'm going to add my glasses, and I have these smoky gray glasses. I've got a water glass and a wine glass. I actually was lucky enough to find these on Facebook Marketplace and at a secondhand store separately, and just by chance. But they are a perfect match. I'm going to put the water glass top left, and then the wine glass just below that above. I'm putting mine right above the middle of the knife blade. And here's a quick look at the water glass and then the wine glass. Okay, now to complete my Halloween place setting, I mentioned I had a really easy DIY napkin ring, and let me share with you how to do that right now. First, I'm going to start with these mini bucket skulls from Dollar Tree store. There's 4 in the container, so we can get 4 napkin rings from this. I'm also going to use black paint, an X-Acto knife, scissors, and a lighter. Oh, and some paper towels as well. So first, let's start with the skull mini buckets. And I need to take one out of the packaging. As you can see, here's one that's already out of the packaging, and it has this handle that I need to get rid of. The other thing too is that a napkin can't fit through it right now, so I'll be taking care of that, and I'm going to distress it because I don't like the bright white of this skull. So first, let's take scissors, and I'm going to just kind of get underneath the piece right here. Snap it off. I'll do the other side now. So you can see I've got the handle, and then there's a hole where this was in. You can push it through if you want. So there we go. Now I need to put the napkin through this, so I need to create a hole here on the bottom. And it's definitely more thin here on top than it is down here. So I'm going to take the X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut away from myself because I don't want to stab myself and cut myself. I'm carefully going to press this inside of the skull. Now again, make sure you keep the blade away from you and do this very carefully. There we go. And then gently guide it around this indentation line that we're seeing right here. I have not been able to go all the way around that. I tend to get stopped about halfway around. I'm going to do that on the other side here. There we go. And then, since I can't go all the way around, I'm going to push this up so you can see how there's a hole that I've created here now. And I need to cut this piece off. Like so. So you can see how I have this hole here now. That's going to come through the top and then on the bottom here. Now this is really jagged and I don't want it to catch on my napkin and tear it at all, so I need to make this area smooth. And to do that, I'm going to take my little lighter here and very, very carefully I'm going to melt the edges of the plastic. If you're not comfortable with this, make sure you have a small bucket of water. That way, if it does catch fire, you can just take and put it in the water, or you can blow it out. So please be very safe and careful when you do this, because this will be an open flame. But I'm doing this to melt and soften these edges. Okay, so here we go. Just lightly, just touch, let it melt a little bit. It's okay if it discolors, don't worry about that, because we're going to be distressing it soon anyway. So again, this is just getting rid of those jagged edges from the plastic. And notice how I'm keeping the flame away from my hand. I don't want to be burned. I don't want anything I'm working with to get burned. See how there's a flame there? Just blow that out, or again, if you're not comfortable, stick it in some cold water to help it melt. I'm going to let this cool off for a moment because I'm not going to touch it. That is hot plastic. I don't want to burn myself, but I believe just looking at it, I've got most of my edges nice and soft. Yep, there we go. Okay. I'm going to do a quick run with my finger. Nothing is catching, so my napkin will be fine. And now I need to take and distress this because I don't like this bright white of the skeleton face. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black paint, shake it up. I am not going to use a paintbrush because I found I liked the coverage more if I took my paint and put it on just a piece of a paper towel and then wiped it onto my plastic skull. So I'm just going to take and smear that on. I'm really going to try to get into the eyes really well because I want to make sure my eyes are nice and dark. But you can kind of see just quickly how I'm rubbing it on. And then I don't want my skulls to be black. I don't want them dark. I just want to be able to see the detail in the skull, like these lines here. I want to be able to see that. I want that to stand out. So I'm going to wipe off a lot of this paint excess. I'm going to continue doing that around the whole plastic skull. And if I scrape any too much of it off, like you see here, not a big deal. Just take that black and rub it back on that area. Oh, now see, isn't that neat how it's showing those lines? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm trying to go for in this. I do not want a gray or black skull. I want one that you can just really see that fun detail. And I'm going to make sure how, see, I'm getting it up on the top edges. I want to make sure I've got it pretty well covered. And same thing on the bottom as well. I want to make sure I get that covered nicely. So just continue doing this until you're really happy with the results. You can always go back and add a little bit more black to it. All right, there we go. That now is my completed DIY skull napkin rig. Now let me share with you how I am actually putting my napkin into my napkin ring. I'm going to bring that up a little closer for you to see. And I fold it into a square, and then each side fold into a triangle, and then into fold those down. It makes me think as if I'm making a paper airplane. And then I take this corner piece and I feed it into my napkin ring. And then I fan out to the edges, and it looks perfectly like a pirate. Just love the way that turned out. So now I'm going to put one of these in the middle of each of my bowls. Perfect. I love the way these place settings are looking for Halloween. Next, I need to start working on my centerpiece, and I want to kind of have my centerpiece complement my sideboard because I want them to be cohesive and to have that same theme. So the first thing I'm going to start with is this very tarnished silver platter, and I love how it's raised. Obviously this was probably kind of a cake plate, but I picked this up at Goodwill. Let me show you a close-up. This is natural tarnish. I just love how it works for the whole look and feel of Halloween. I'm going to take and put that right in the middle of my table. And then I have a few goodies that I'm going to add into the middle center of that tray. And the first one is this perfect black shiny skull that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and I put some of these Sola wood flowers that I have dyed previously. They're like a deep dark red and black, and I put them again on another tarnished silver plate. So I'll show you that close up as well. And then I'm just going to take and put that right in the middle of my elevated tray. And kind of going with that whole Halloween feel, I'm going to cover it as if it's being preserved. And then around the outside, I have more of those dyed Sola wood flowers. Again, I dyed these quite a while ago, but I've got some black ones and some deep red. They're so easy to do. I'll put a link down below for you. And I actually have just some fake black flower that I got from Dollar Tree. Oh, and if you watched my previous video of my fall apple harvest table, you might recognize this red mom that I used, and I have including that in the centerpiece as well, because I love how it's dying in the dried look of it. So I'm just going to take and put these kind of around. And then I also have some fake spiders that I'm going to add as well, just kind of giving that ick kind of factor to everything. I have a really big one here, and I'm going to see if he decides to stay. Sometimes he likes to slide down. We'll see, but I think that looks so cute, don't you? All right, now I really need to embellish this centerpiece a lot more to really kind of pull in that whole Halloween feel to it. So I'm going to add some more pieces to the centerpiece. And the first part are these hands. I picked these up from Dollar Tree as well, and I put some spiders on them. But I took black paint and I kind of aged them a little bit so they didn't have that shiny feel to them. I'm going to make it look as if they're holding the tray. Here we go. And then I have some more of the tarnished silver pieces. These are so cheap when you go to secondhand stores. People get rid of them all of the time, and you can just keep them this way if you want to use them for a table like this one. I mean, you know, old tarnished silver looks wonderful on a Halloween tablescape. And then I'm going to take some more of my spiders and just kind of put those crawling on them. And then I have two more pieces that I'm going to add to this table. The first one, and I'm going to give you a close-up of this, is this aged wine bottle. I did this for a Tablescape 2 years ago, and I've kept them. And I actually had the candle wax melt down the wine bottle. I just love the way it looks for Halloween. I'll show you a quick close-up of it. I'll put the link to the DIY on my website for you as well. And I've got it on another tarnished little plate, and then I'm going to have the spiders along the edge of the bottom of the tray. And let's see if I can get one to stay as if he's crawling up. He might not be able to. We'll see. Look at that, he stayed. Okay, I've got one more to add. Okay, so this also is from Dollar Tree, and you've probably seen these hanging skeletons. They just, you know, at $1.25, I mean, what a deal. You cannot make this cheap yourself. And they are supposed to hang, but what I thought would be really fun, and I'm sharing it with you now because you're going to end up seeing the back side of it, is I'm going to put it on the opposite end right here on my table as if he's overlooking the tablescape. And what I did, because obviously I can't hang him and he's only got these two arms, is I actually have a candlestick holder, a nice big chunky pillar one, and I am resting it on top of that to give it that solid base that it needs for my tablescape. So there's my completed easy Halloween tablescape. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Have a wonderful time with your friends and family at your next gathering. Bye.